Something in me just went, I've known this guy a while. I trust him. If I were ever to do something this crazy, you know, why not? And I'd have my car with me if I needed to flee in the middle of the night to safety or whatever, or go get a hotel. I was good. So, and he kept telling me, you'll either be hooked or you'll never step foot in a place like this again.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back.
Hey everyone.
I'm Logan.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are Generation X Paranormal. I don't know why I said it that way, by the way. I don't know, mixing it up a little bit. I don't know. Well, folks, we've got, like I always say, we got a great show. But I'm really excited to talk to these guys because gear. If you do anything with the paranormal...
Any kind of investigating, yes.
Any kind of investigating... You know that you better have some deep pockets because it is not cheap. In fact, I think we've spent probably more than our fair share of money on paranormal equipment over the last year.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we won't go too far into it because it could be unhealthy. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway.
Everybody in this field knows, though, it's an unhealthy hobby.
That's right.
Yep.
Just thousands and thousands of dollars. Why not? Anyway, guys, so if you hadn't guessed already, we're talking to not only a couple that does what we do, that does paranormal investigation, but they are also making their own gear.
Yes. Okay.
And we're going to be talking to Mark and Tina. And they are from Journey into the Haunted, and they make their own custom gear. I'm kind of fanboying over them because first of all, they've just got some really cool stuff. They're innovative. And, I really can't wait to talk to them.
Yeah, well, let's get to it then.
Let's do it. Well, hey, Mark. Hey, Tina. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
We're doing good. Trying to figure out the weather here in Missouri. I don't know. Where are you guys based out of?
We're northeast Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah, we're southwest Missouri, and I'm pretty sure that there's a demonic presence in charge of the weather out here because it just never...
It was 70-some degrees the other day.
Yeah. I drive a Wrangler, and I had it into the shop, so to speak, and I didn't have it for the one day it was 70 degrees. I could have had the top down and having a good time, but well. We'll be complaining about it being hot, so...
Yeah, I'm not complaining too much because it's been a pretty mild winter for us, but we have 3 Ford Mustangs, and so I can totally feel your we were chomping at the bit wanting to go out and play on those nice days. So
I bet. Yeah, we not recently, but within the last couple of years or so, we went to we kind of did the whole East Coast. We went to Savannah, then drove all the way up to to Virginia, and then back down. And we rented a Mustang convertible, red one. And that was a lot of fun.
That sounds like an awesome trip. I bet it was beautiful.
It was amazing.
It was. Yeah.
But listen, I'm sure we're going to get into kind of the, what you guys have going on, especially with the shop and stuff like that. But can you kind of give our audience a kind of a rundown of what got you to this point, how you got into the paranormal, anything about you guys that you kind of want our audience to know?
All right. Well, it kind of all started with me, and the odd thing is I find most people that are in the paranormal have had some sort of exposure to things growing up. Have some stories or some things that really intrigued them and drew them into the field. Me, no, not so much. I certainly was the kid though that was afraid of the dark. Like I was terrified of everything. So for me to do anything in the paranormal field, years ago would have said, "There's no way. You can't pay me to step foot in a haunted house." And now I'm paying to step foot in a haunted house. So,
Yes.
but it happened really kind of strangely. I mentioned our Ford Mustangs. We run a Ford Mustang club here in the kind of Sioux City, Iowa area. So we've got Iowa, Nebraska,
Okay.
and South Dakota folks. Awesome club and all that. And our members are really great about, suggesting activities and stuff. And we had a new guy come along. His name was Robert, and friended him on Facebook, as I do with most of our members. And he was a paranormal investigator. I had no idea he was doing that. So at that time, I was watching a lot of the shows on TV and stuff. So I was very intrigued about the things that were happening for him. And I just was like, no, there's no way I'd ever do that. But that's so cool. And at one point, he's like, it'd be cool to take the club down to this place called Malvern Manor. It's about 2 hours, I think, from. Yeah. So he's like, that'd be kind of cool. What do you think? And I'm like, sure, we'll go down and do a day tour, So we made this event, and he added in the Villisca Axe Murder House, which is
nice.
Yes.
infamous. So word started spreading, and it went out beyond our little club. All these people kept saying, "This sounds so amazing. Can we come?" And we're like, okay. And I kept asking him. I'm like, we may end up with a lot of people. He's like, that's fine. We ended up with 68 Ford Mustangs cruising from Iowa down into the Villisca area. So I don't know if you've ever been to the Villisca house.
No,
We have not
It's
yet.
on our short
No.
list, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very tiny town.
Yeah.
Tiny. And so we were parking cars everywhere. It was really awesome because there were people of all ages and everything there. But anyways, and then we hopped over to Malvern Manor, and he kept telling me, me and my friends are going to stay the night and do an investigation at Malvern Manor. You should come. No, I'm not. And that went on for almost the whole year that we planned. And then I don't know, like the 3 weeks before or something in me just went, I've known this guy a while. I trust him. If I were ever to do something this crazy, why not? And I'd have my car with me if I needed to flee in the middle of the night to safety or whatever, or go get a hotel. I was good. So, and he kept telling me, you'll either be hooked or you'll never step foot in a place like this again.
Yes.
And, it was kind of, if you could put together an evening to take a newbie into and experience like all these different realms of things that happen, that's what I had my first night, which is unheard of.
No
So
kidding.
it was very active. We had everything under the sun happening, and it was crazy. And so then I kept he would invite me with his team to go do different things, and I kept jumping on, and then it just kind of evolved. And paranormal equipment's expensive.
Yes.
Yes.
I
And
know.
as we got, and I have a gazillion hobbies. Now I say my hobby's collecting hobbies. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of things that I'm, trying to spend money on. And so Mark is kind of a computer wizard guru kind of guy. And everybody was having these really cool paranormal music boxes that were $400, $500, $600. I don't know. Super cool. And I really wanted one, but I just couldn't justify spending that much of my money on one. So I'm like, hey, here's this video of somebody online that made one. Can you do that? And so he made one, and then people started wanting to buy them from me. I'm like, okay, well, what do you think? And he's like, okay. So he kept tweaking it and kind of got the innards down to everything he liked about it. And we had sold so many of them at that point, it was like, we either need to stop because, there's all the fun things with business of tax income and all of that stuff that you either need to stop or you need to start filing it on tax returns and all that.
Right.
And so he's like, we're either going to go in or we're going to just kind of lay back on it. And we decided to just kind of jump into it. So that's kind of how the small business started. And then from there, people that started buying stuff through me on Etsy were like, hey, we're going to be in Missouri. That's not too far from you. You want to come join us? And I'm like, yes, this is amazing. So I'd go out and meet them, and I have made some amazing friends, and it's just people that have bought something through our Etsy store. And so then I kept giving Mark kind of a hard time because, like, if you're a businessman now, you should really come out and go on these investigations with me. and and I kept telling him, I'm like, these people are so much fun. We have so much fun together. I really think you would enjoy this. And he came out and he's done a few things, and he comes along pretty much all the time now, for the most part.
Unwillingly, but yeah.
Oh, come on.
So wait a minute.
Come
Let me
on.
see if I've got
But
this right.
He's
For
made
just
some
a
great
second.
friends through this too.
Your
so-
freshman outing, the first time you ever stepped foot in a paranormal hotspot, you chose, or the Malvern Manor is where you went.
That's where I went.
Right, right.
Yeah, mine was Waverly.
Oh, even
Oh,
better.
wow.
Even better.
How that happened is one year for my birthday, he gave me a birthday card and he said he would go on an investigation with me wherever I wanted. And I said, wherever? And he said, wherever you want, I will go. And I don't know that I even hesitated, and it was Waverly Hills.
Golly.
And so we planned a little long weekend road trip, and we went up to Waverly. And it was kind of at some point during COVID, because they had like really reduced numbers of people for the public tour.
Mm-hmm.
So we did like a walking history tour, and then we booked the overnight right after that. And since we had already done all the history, they just turned us loose. I think we saw like 2 people the entire time we were there. So it was kind of like we had Waverly to ourselves.
Wow.
And Waverly did not disappoint. I mean, he was taking off and talking to stuff, and I'm, what is going on? Like, he was having stuff just right out the gate at Waverly. And so I was just like, yes, it was pretty cool.
Wow.
But yeah, so mine was Malvern Manor here in Iowa. It's pretty much 2 hours right from my doorstep, and it continues to be one of my favorite places to go. Over the years, I've learned a lot of the history, and the owner continues to find more information on it, and you just kind of keep getting drugged back to some of those kind of places, and that's one of my favorite places to go. So that was mine, and he got Waverly Hills.
So, Mark,
those are great ones.
Yeah, Marcus.
To start with, yeah.
I got to ask Marcus. So, or do you prefer Mark?
Either one's fine.
Okay. What? I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that his first.
I know. I can't believe that.
So, what was your first impression with going into this, where you're like, because I don't know how much, I guess how much evidence or whatever you collected there, but how much experience you had during your time there. But, well, what did you think after that?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I will give you that much. But probably within the first 20 minutes of being in there by ourselves, I was down at the one end of the floor by myself, and I'm hearing a woman say hello, and it sounded like the floor above me, and I know nobody else is in the building. And then there was it was the same floor, like in that back hallway. You know how they have the rooms in the front, and then there's the hallway, and then the next set of rooms?
Yep.
I was walking down that hallway, and I caught like a flash of light out of the corner of my eye. And I stopped, and I backed up, and I looked in the room, and all the windows are, covered. I mean, it's pitch black in this room.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk in the room, kind of turn around, and it's just as I'm getting ready to walk out of the room, the lens cap falls off of my camera. And it's the kind that, it's the SLR where it's screwed on.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It fell off. Never have had it fall off before or since. Pick it up off the ground, screw it back on, and it. When I left the room, I made note there was like a marking on the wall by the door, and just randomly through the night, it's like, oh my God, did you just hear that or whatever? And we'd look, and it was always right in front of that room, like all night long.
That's wild.
It's like something just kept drawing us back to that room.
Yeah, there was, we had the noise in the chute area. There was tapping when we were in the mortuary. There's just weird stuff all night.
That's so crazy. Man, I don't even, I'm trying to remember what my first real experience was as far as like truly investigating.
Yeah.
It certainly was not Waverly. I mean, I kind of always did it, even when I was a kid, but I think the first time I ever really went somewhere with an intent to actually, I guess, experience something paranormal was probably the Whaley House in San Diego, because I was raised somewhat I was raised on the West Coast, but I went through high school in San Diego. So, yeah, I think that's probably it in that place. You guys ever get a chance to go there?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it is. It's insane, but no, it certainly wasn't Waverly. That's something. Okay, now that I get to digest that for a second, that's probably going to floor a lot of our audience, because we always say don't do something huge the first time up, because it can definitely get out and grab you, and it's extremely addictive if you do get into it. Kind of that rush, and I'm sure you guys know what we're talking about, where you're scared out of your what, and then but you can't stop,
Yeah.
It's anyway. I digress, because I'm still just really floored by that. It's freaking awesome. So
there was somebody posted 100 locations in the U.S. haunted locations. It's one of those where you scratch it off when you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had like 26 of them off of that list already.
Nice.
It's kind of nuts.
Yeah,
That's
We're
So-
big road trippers.
so you guys are sure probably done Atchison then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another fun one for us.
Yeah.
I love the McIntyre Villa.
Mhm.
We've been there a number of times. Did you do an overnight
Sally
there?
House.
You have.
Yeah, I've done that.
I think we've just wrote out our schedule for this year, and I think we're going to be at McIntyre with some teams that have invited us like 3 or 4 times. And we've done the day stuff at the Sally House, but we've never done an overnight. And we are pairing up with some girls, the Haunting Angels, to do the Sally House for an overnight. So that'll be the first time overnight there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I
We
don't.
never, we haven't, we stopped outside of it because
Yeah.
we were in Atchison, but we haven't been in it.
Yeah, we were actually going to do. This is an interesting trip, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mike and Sam or not.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so we're
Yeah.
we're pretty close friends with Mike and Sam.
We're actually going to McIntyre.
Yeah, we're going to
this spring
McIntyre with them. Yeah, but
Awesome.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
doing a Glore.
Glore
They asked us to come
psychiatric,
out
yeah.
to Glore Psychiatric. So we're there. We're like, okay, let's go to Atchison. Just so it's so close, and we went to the Sally House, and I got. And again, I'm a big believer. My audience knows this, and I'm sure you guys probably feel the same. I even though I have ITC stuff on my phone, I like to run 2 different things at the same time. So I'll run ITC while I run something else just to see kind of where it goes. But we went on to the Sally House, and I had the ghost tube Vox thing open. And the only reason I gave that just a tiny bit of credence is because it said podcast.
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
And we were standing on the front
Standing
porch.
on the porch
It
of
was
the Sally
weird.
House.
Yeah, it was really weird.
I could never really explain that. I try to explain it away because I know that uses sampling on a whole bunch of different things and different stations, but how in the world would it have known that we were there and we were a podcast?
Yeah.
It was
just
really weird.
It was
Yeah.
wild. But anyway, yeah, we've had some fun, and I'm glad you've scratched off 26, right? 26 from the
Yeah,
from the list?
there's a lot of
That's
them.
crazy.
Yeah. Well,
It was a lot more than I thought I was going to scratch off the list. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
Well, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it gets super addictive. We get it. It's in fact, we just did a haunted morgue here locally, and it probably some of the best. I would say kind of we took a K2, which by the way we're going to plug something for you here in a second. We took a K2 and a REM pod, and we had them pretty decently apart in a bathroom that had a morgue table on
Autopsy,
it, or
yeah.
autopsy table,
Autopsy table.
morgue table, and I have a medical background. That's what even makes it worse. But but anyway, we had a morgue table on there, and we got like independent. It would flip back and forth between the K2 would max out, and then the REM pod would go off, and then the light in the bathroom would dim a little bit when it would do that. So
it was crazy. It was our first experience of that happening.
Yeah, I've
like,
never
just
seen anything
three
like that
times in a
before.
row. It just kept going, and I was like, that gave me the shivers just a little bit. You're standing right next to an autopsy table.
Yeah, it hit us in the feels for sure.
Yeah,
But I'm going to plug something. We're going to get into the shop here in a second because we did utilize this awesome little stand here.
K2 stand. Yeah.
This actually saved us from having to figure out where to put this thing. But yeah, we're as I say to our audience, those of you who are listening and not watching, that we're not only interviewing, but we're also clients. So
yes,
yes, we appreciate that so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that gives us a good pivot. Let's talk about, and I know you said, obviously trying to go from just what you're doing prior into a business part to it. As we all know, anybody who does this for any limited or short amount of time, if you're into the paranormal, you better have very deep pockets, because it seems like everybody constantly comes up with something new. And if your team doesn't have it and you're investigating, nobody wants to hear you because you don't have this, or, we've debunked this, so why are you even using that anymore? Here's this new thing. So yeah, it's I wish a long time ago and I'm like you, Marcus. I have a technical background. I'm actually a network engineer by trade. So I wish I'd have known back then that I could have gone into this line of work and probably made hand over fist the kind of money. But no, I didn't. I went to college and was stupid and spent a lot of money to find out I probably should have done this anyway. But yeah. So what kind of started you down the path, other than, of course, you didn't want to have to spend all that stinking money?
That was really kind of it. And we both, just by nature, we like to be busy. It's kind of a joke. We are never home. We're always out doing something with one of our gazillion hobbies. We do a lot with our cars, and we're both photographers, and we'll just hop in the car and go take pictures one afternoon. We just like to stay busy. So it was kind of a tinkering thing too. So that's it was like, I want this, and I know you can do it. I know you can. And he did. And then once the sales on that were picking up, it was like, okay, so what else can we do? Because this is kind of cool. We started building this, I guess, little community of people that, came into our shop and then hung around and are still hanging around and picking up whatever we've got. But, I think, I don't know what really the next thing was that we started doing.
I'm pretty sure it was either the cat ball stand or the K2 stand.
Yeah, it was, and we've got, can you see that? I can't see the screen. So, but these silly little cat ball stands we started doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just something so simple. But, a lot of the places you're on an uneven floor, you're on dirt, whatever. And this little guy just holds it right there for you. And a lot of people were concerned that, it's not going to go off. And it certainly does. And so many people have said, even with this, I trust that it's a positive reaction, because it kind of takes away the probability of it rolling around or something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But the other thing I like is that it makes your cat balls easier to find. When you're done and you're tired and you're trying to find all the stuff you leave behind,
Yes.
Right.
you've got these little things, you're like, oh, there's the cat ball, because they're hard to see. And then, you guys have the K2 stand. These things, I love them.
Yeah. And we got the copper one.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had that copper. Somebody mentioned a copper to us, and so we looked into it and got that in and started doing those. They've been really good for us too. But that's kind of how it started. And then, we kept trying to think of other things we could do, because, and I'm talking an awful lot. But he likes computer stuff and things he can tinker with. And so we ended up getting a 3D printer, which is how we started making that stuff. And so then I'm like, it's fun to have all these colors. You buy all this equipment, it's all black. You can't see it in your bag, all that. So I think we've got all these colors.
Nice.
We've got more that aren't even on here now, but And we've got stuff that glows in the dark, and it's just...
We've got one of those. We haven't used it yet, but
look at
you
that.
can't see it because of the green screen.
I just saw that.
It should be green and red.
Yeah,
and it doesn't really show up the yes or no.
Yeah, for those of us, or for those just listening to the podcast, I'm holding up one of their yes/no things for the cat ball stand, and you cannot see the yes because it's green. So yeah,
it looks white.
It looks white.
It's green.
But, yeah, kind of looks like the Domino pizza thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, there it is. That is
Perfect.
it. Yep. Yeah, you know something I guess I'm really not taken aback because just in getting to know you guys just for this few little bit that we've talked. You know, there's a lot of products out there that's made by companies and things like that you don't feel like maybe they are actual investigators. You know, it may be nice, it may look cool, but you realize that, I don't know, this is definitely thought up of, you know, on the fly, but I don't know that there was really a hands-on somebody that knew what they were doing, or if they did, they just didn't really care about the ergonomics and trying to figure it out as a paranormal investigator. In fact, like you said, in the middle of the night, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, you haven't slept yet. It is so hard to find a black, you know, K2
and the
meter.
cat balls.
And the cat balls. Yeah.
We had to recount. I couldn't even remember how many we had brought.
Yeah. And I think that's why, because, you know, being frank, we look at a lot of different gear because of what we do. And we kind of like your approach to everything because we feel like these are people and they understand what we're doing. You know, they understand that, you know, make a bright color, make it look cool, make it something that serves a function but isn't overbearing. You know, you look at some of the, like, okay, this is a show and tell hour. So those who are listening, we're going to be holding up random products. So if you guys want to watch what it was, come to the video on YouTube. But we got the music box. And what I find awesome about this is it's so simple but amazing.
It really is.
First of all, we got some incredible evidence that we're going to be putting out at that morgue, by the way. But it's responsive. It's not one of those where we've bought stuff from the leading, you know, the shop, so to speak, or the stop, I should say. Yeah, we all know what that one is. And, you know, I just feel like some of that stuff, while great, I just don't know that it has you know, it doesn't always have the quality that I'd like to see. Now, they have a great customer service. I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but, you know, it's the money, you know, and knowing what we spent for some of this stuff, it is, in my opinion, it's a fraction of what that should have gone for, you know, on those. And quite frankly, I think it's better.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
What kind of, Marcus, if you could kind of tell us, you know, you don't have to go totally under the hood so people don't, you know, make these on their own. but
leave out the secret ingredient.
Leave out the secret ingredients.
$1,000, I'll sell you the blue. No, I'm just kidding.
What kind of went into the making of the music box for you guys, and where did you? Obviously, you did enough research. You kind of figured out the okay, this is going to work this way. What kind of walk us through that process a little bit?
So the very first music box that I did was from a video that I saw Tina had forwarded me from YouTube or something. But essentially what it was is, you know how they have those cards and when you open them they play the music or whatever, or a voice or something?
Card.
Greeting card, yeah. Well, the first one we did actually used that mechanism. It basically had a light sensor on it, and then the motion sensor that's on the front would light an LED, and that light from the LED would turn the music on. So that, like the initial ones we first did, there's only a couple of them, but that's how they worked.
Okay.
And then from there, we kind of did some research and found an actual circuit board that did more what we wanted and how we wanted. So we could do, you know, we could add the customizations and you can change all the settings and the adjustments and all that. I mean, that was all stuff that just after researching, you know, we had the basic idea of how we wanted it to work. Then we just found a better way to do it, essentially.
Yeah.
And then we moved from, when we started, they were all wooden boxes, and now we've migrated up to the 3D printed boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have the ability, even with the 3D printed boxes, to customize them and put, team logos and whatever you want on them at this point.
Cool.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, and too, with him, a lot of times I'll ask him, hey, well, can you do this? And he'd be like, no. And trust me, I know. No means, all right, the wheels are spinning.
Yep.
'Cause
Right. Yeah.
he can't stand to not know how to do something.
Right.
I understand that.
That's my advantage. So I'm like, okay, so if it does this, well, can we do this? Can it, kind of do this instead? And so I think we decided we're on like the third or fourth reiteration of the music boxes, and I think they're staying the way they are now.
Yeah,
So we got 'em where
and
we
I mean,
like
the
it.
initial one, when we made it, it went with Tina on Investigations, and she was using it, and that's,
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to try it out and make sure it would work the way she wanted before we went any further with it, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of the equipment that we've developed or have done has been at a request from somebody, honestly.
Mhm.
Whether
Wow.
it's Tina or other people have said, hey, it'd be great if you could come up with something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, our newest piece of equipment, that's how that came to be. The burst box
Yes.
Okay.
was because somebody had suggested, I used to have one of these. It was great, but the guy doesn't make them anymore. Is this something you might be able to do? And we figured out how to do it.
And when he says we, it's him.
Yeah, but
we each very much so have our own things that we just handle it, and we've never sat down and discussed it. It's just how we are. We like, he handles this stuff, I handle this stuff. I try and help him when I can, but I mean, the biggest burden of, and I shouldn't use the word burden because it's totally not, but the biggest efforts to make this continue to happen is because of what he can do. Without him, this wouldn't. I can't do any of this stuff.
every man has his muse.
Yeah, we have a we as well, even though we do separate things.
But you know what?
So
Yes.
he's still we in, but it's all him. But
Yeah.
and this I had never even seen one or heard of one when somebody had brought this to our attention. And we've talked real briefly about, like, when you first get into this, you're spending all this money buying all this stuff, and then you aren't using it, and I stepped in ever so lightly, and I was lucky to be invited along with people that had all this really cool gear, and so
Yes.
I really didn't buy much because I was kind of a fly on the wall, just learning, and I'm still constantly learning, which I love, but I didn't have a whole lot of stuff, and so I still really don't. I go pretty light. I don't do videos because I stay so busy. I really don't have much time to review anything.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things he had gotten me was just an EVP recorder, and I would use it, and then I'd get home and I'd be so tired, and then I would never listen to it, and then the next investigation comes along, and I just kind of stopped using the EVP the digital recorder, and it's really a shame because so many cool things come across on there. But
Yeah.
so when I heard about this, I'm like, yes, you need to figure this out because it records in like 90-second increments. So you can ask, 2-3 questions, and then
It's
you
like
can
2 minutes long. It'll record 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you can immediately play it back. And the coolest part is it's got this little volume control on it. So you can crank up that playback on it. And then your EVP is reviewed right on the spot.
That's
One thing
awesome.
it doesn't do is it doesn't have any internal memory. So if you don't catch anything, you can go right over top of it. If you do catch something, you can put your phone up and record it or get it on your video. May not be for everybody, but I think it's pretty cool because your EVP sessions are done, and two, it helps. Cold medicine's catching up with me.
You're good.
You're fine.
it helps guide your session. Right now,
Yeah.
and that happens with real EVP, digital recorders too. But
Yep.
it just helps guide everything. And you had mentioned Glore Psychiatric.
Yes.
The very first place we went after he had finalized the box was Glore, and it was the first time I think I had investigated there. And we were down in the tunnels, and it was getting close to being the end of the night. And I'm usually not one that ever senses things or feels things that are weird, but something that night just started feeling weird to me. And I was with some other girls, and they kind of have some sensitive abilities, and they don't really say a lot. They like to see if other people pick up on things. But we all kind of started talking about that, and we were doing a burst recorder, and you could hear, and I had made the comment, I feel like something's behind me. And again, for me to say something like that, it's really, really out there, because I just don't feel that. But we played this back, and there was this breath that just went,
Wow.
and it was so freaky.
Wow.
Nice.
So that was cool, because we did not hear that at all. And when we played it back and cranked that volume up, we picked that up, and it was just like, wow.
That's
Yeah,
so
those
cool.
tunnels are crazy.
Yeah, we got a scream. Did
Yeah, we
Mike
got a
get a scream on the recorder
Yeah, we
when
went
we were
down there.
standing in there? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because to this very point, Mike had a DR60. Now, I'm not going to go out and sell my car to buy one, but he had one. And anyway, he played it, and there are some crazy EVPs down there that you can get a lot. And your box, I think, serves such a
Yes, it
good...
does.
You know,
That's the one thing I don't like is like we have to wait till the end and go home and listen to it. And if we would have known what we got,
right.
you can go off of those EVPs. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
And
And you
if
can't
any-
afford a DR60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
we can, I don't know that I'm going to get one. It just, they're so, anyway. But what's nice is if you have that. So I'm a big believer in running dual sets of data. And I'm sure you guys would understand that. I'm a big, if you're running an ITC, run something analog just to see what you're going to get, because it's not about the crazy EVP that you picked up on this one time. I think you have to build kind of like this Picasso of stuff and kind of throw it together to get a real feeling on what you actually have. So having differential data points. So let's say you've got a DR60, or like we've got a Zoom. And like if we've got the Zoom out there, a device like yours would be great, because you can always run, like you said, hey, I don't need to know what happened 4 hours ago that this thing's recording. I just need to know, what did we just hear? What do we think is going on here? And even if you pick it up on like your box, you're still going to pick it up on another audio equipment, especially if it's something like a Zoom or a DR60 or something like that. So kind of like you said, if you have something like that, bring it up close to your box, and when you hit it, you still get your sample. I think that's a great stopgap. Now I know those have existed kind of before, but I like the way your setup kind of works. I know with a lot of those, you don't really get the volume as much. If I remember right, there was one I saw where it had even a smaller amount of recording, but it was a burst recorder, the same kind of thing. But I think there was a lot of stuff that was missing, for lack of better words. But it doesn't really sound like yours does either. So that's really good. And I know that you probably would have thought of like, well, I could put an input out so that it can record as something else. But that's really not, in my opinion, the design of that. The whole point of that is kind of down and dirty and get it out as quick as you can.
Yeah, and I mean the whole point of it is more of a just real quick session. I mean, you could honestly have your regular EVP recorder just recording
Right.
normal and just use this to supplement your investigation.
Exactly. No, it's a great box. In fact, we'll probably end up getting
It's on our list.
Yeah, it's on our list. So another thing that I, we talk about this before, where you see a lot of folks that make different types of gear, and we've run the gamut. We've thrown some money down the proverbial hole on stuff where we're just like, okay, that was a complete waste of money. In fact, we just did it recently. Won't go into who and why, but that was
not
a
what
waste.
we
It's not what we
expected.
expected. But what I like a lot of it is the durability. I feel like everything you guys make is kind of meant to be, you don't want to obviously run it over with your truck, but, it's meant you can give a little bit of push and pull with it, which is nice. And
yeah, these are the best, by the way. We wanted to mention your battery boxes.
This...
Because this has changed everything.
Yeah, game changer.
Yes. They're fantastic.
Yeah, we use the heck out of these. I honestly don't know what I'd have done without them. Because I think to myself, well, of course that makes sense. Why the hell wouldn't anybody make something like that? So, like I said, we're fans. We enjoy the stuff. That's why I feel like I'm going to use a tagline here, and you can take it if you don't have it. It's not going to be great, but it's gear that is made by paranormal investigators for paranormal investigators. I don't feel like it's gear that's like thought up even in a lab and just really doesn't have as much practical use to it.
Yeah.
But,
I would say that's accurate.
Yeah, for sure.
And keep it simple. That's kind of, we're trying to just keep things really simple. And, another thing, like, I don't really have a cool gear bag or, some people have the coolest stuff. And I would love to do that, but I just get so, 2 in the morning rolls around, I am tired. And this is just me, how I function, but for me to go back and put everything in its little place, and I'm so jealous of people that have this in them because they always have the neatest looking little cases. Me, I'm a mess. I have a backpack. It gets flown open. Everything gets dumped in this backpack, and off I go. And so that, I think that speaks a lot to the durability of things. And Mark, he's really, not that he doesn't impress me all the time, because he does, and it's really annoying. But I continue to be impressed with how meticulous he is with everything he does and how clean stuff is. If you were to open up the boxes and look inside there and stuff, like, he just builds everything so nice and clean and neat, and everything's got its little place and stuff. And then too, the only thing I have to worry about when I travel is my music box getting bumped power on, and I'm halfway down the interstate and the paranormal music box starts playing music.
And you force project out of your body for a second.
Yeah. So everything's pretty sturdy, but that happens every now and then. And then too, we wanted to build kind of our own version of like a little REM pod. And one thing I thought was a cool idea, which I'd seen other REM pods like this, it just has the detachable antenna, because again, me throwing all this junk in my backpack, the antennas get, wonky or bent out of shape and stuff. And so I can just pull this apart, put this in a compartment, throw this in my bag, and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, we're on our second antenna already with our recent REM pod. So I get it. The screwing on, that gets annoying.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'll say this though, I love the simplicity of, because we are those that have the, the Pelican cases and the foam. Yeah, now
we are. We didn't used to be.
But trying to make a cutout for something like this, or like we've got a couple of. Even the thing we got from Katie Stafford, that thing is a monster to try to put in a foam. Yeah. But the simplicity to put this in a foam is ridiculous. It's amazing. So even for those who do have that, which I unfortunately, I'm really bad about. I'm very...
With his tech, he has to be very precise.
Like everything's Velcroed, everything's... I'm a network engineer. I'm sorry. It's just
let's just put it this way. If it was my gear bag, it would be more like the Pelican case with the foam and everything labeled where it needs to go.
Yeah.
But still,
I'm the train wreck.
Oh no! Listen,
it's so funny. Those people always marry each other, and I think it's the funniest thing.
But what we do is we trade off. Where I'm really, really tight with those sort of things, the other stuff I'm not, and she is. So it's like it's a really nice kind of. It's a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So okay, we kind of covered a little bit about the shop.
I do want to mention one more thing, because I just saw it recently. You've been posting something new that you're making, and they're little figures, and I'll let you talk about that, because I think they are the cutest things in the world.
They are so adorable. And this again was me just going, hey, I think these would be fun to put in the shop. I like them. I think other people would like them. So I had him start, and he made me this little
That's so
Mothman,
cool.
That's
which
so
is
cute.
adorable.
Yes.
And then he made a pink one and a purple one.
Aww.
And then we had a great response with Mothman, which everybody
loves Mothman. Yeah.
That's
So,
right.
so we kind of dove into some of the other little cryptids and stuff that we're making, and we've got the Loveland frog, we've got Sasquatch, Krampus. I think Krampus is my favorite.
Oh,
I think
that's
he
really
is
cool.
Just the cutest little
That's
thing.
Yeah.
And like we've got the Jersey Devil, we've got
Nice.
several more, and we've got some back running on the printers right now. So we're doing a vendor event here in a couple weeks. So I'm thinking those are going to be a good thing for us because they're super cute.
They are very, very cute.
Are you guys at Missouri Paracon?
Is that where you're going?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there too.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so first of all, like we talked about all the really cool stuff that you have, do you guys have kind of like I know everything kind of stays in like a symbiote stationary time for a little while, but then you always think about, okay, what's next? What's the next pivot? What are we looking at? Do you guys kind of have that kind of in mind?
I have a very large tub of stuff that we're kind of messing around with at the moment. We've had several requests for like temperature sensors and like a EMF detector that does multiple directions, or it has a directionality that it can tell you where the EMF is coming from.
Nice.
We've had silent devices. One that'll only display a light and won't actually play a sound or anything. We've had several people ask about those.
Yeah, we've had. I think it's pretty amazing, but there's a few hearing-impaired teams out there, and they have actually. We've heard from multiple of them that said they would like a silent device. They don't need the sound, and then other people are like, hey, that's kind of a cool idea because then you don't have to sit and listen to the noises and all of that stuff too. So
right.
So yeah, but yeah, he's got all kinds of things. Somebody that was on a video we did last night said, hey, I got an idea for you. I'm going to send you some information.
Nice.
And then I went through a bout where I was at like some thrift stores and stuff, and I found some really cool old like radios with the old radio knobs and all that on them. And they're like leather and metal, and I'm like, could you like tear the insides out of this and make it into something? And he's like, I probably can do that. So we haven't had the time to really get into that, but some of those are sitting back there. He made a Furby REM pod a couple months ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
To do something kind of different.
Like
So
a
that was
Boo
kind of
Bear.
fun.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Those are awesome. Yeah, we I think one of the things that so we have the old style mini mag light, where you could actually do the light test that a lot of people are into, but now you can't do that because the new ones are LED and they technically supposedly don't fit that mold. Maybe that's something to look into too, because I know a lot of people still like to utilize it. It's silent and you could still kind of halfway figure out
Like
where
a
that
flashlight
flashlight
yeah.
light is sort of on but not, and maybe it can be manipulated. I don't know. It's just
That's up to you to
that's up
figure
to
out.
you guys. But
Yep. Him.
but listen, we know that your stuff works. We use it.
Yeah.
We know
Highly
that
recommended.
yeah,
Yes.
and it's extremely affordable. Anybody who wants to take that next step. I know there's a lot of people who are into the paranormal that don't investigate, and that's fine. And I know they listen to us and watch us too. But those folks who want to go out and kind of experience it and take record of it and that sort of thing, I couldn't find a better place to start with than where your shop is, because the affordability, the thought that goes into it, its durability. Again, we don't just say as lip service, we do it, we use it. So we find it pretty, it's a great spot to be in. And we're so appreciative of you guys having that forethought and being able to do that for paranormal people as paranormal people. So we really appreciate that. But kind of kind of sort of wrapping up here, where can our folks find you? I know there's the Etsy store, but if you kind of want to give them a rundown on where they can kind of get some of this amazing gear and kind of get started.
Well, we'll be at the Missouri Paracon. I don't know if this will be out before then, but we'll be there at the end of the month, the 28th of February through the 1st of March in Kansas City. And then I think, do we have any other vendor events right now at the moment?
No.
I don't think so. But mainly everything goes through our Etsy shop. And if you just go to journeyintothehaunted.com, it just dumps you right into our Etsy storefront. Etsy's worked really well for us. The only thing that's kind of the downside is when we want to show a product working or in use, Etsy does not allow any music or voice audio with the video clips that we can put in Etsy. So that's kind of the one thing I struggle with a little bit. But when that happens, I put a link in there over to our YouTube page, and then you can go in there and see the colors, and I can talk about stuff and explain stuff and show things a little bit better.
For sure.
But everything pretty much goes through Etsy unless we end up finding a cool event to attend. And then we're on Facebook, so anything, shop updates, new products, new events that we'll be at will all be on our Facebook page. And we do some fun little giveaways over there every now and then. So
Nice.
If people are interested in following us, that would be amazing. You might win something cool at some point too.
Very nice.
So yeah, and we've just got some fun collabs this year coming up with a lot of wonderful teams from the Midwest. And looking down the list of our people, I think every single one of them we have met through our shop.
That's great.
Which it's incredible. And the Haunting Angels, I just did an insane investigation with them in December in Ohio. Do not recommend it. It was freezing cold. I don't know what in the world we were thinking, but we survived. But we were setting out our gear, and I think they have like 5 or 6 of our music boxes. I didn't put it all together to realize that, but I had to like fight back tears as she was setting out her gear, because they had the very, very first one we made. It was like a timeline of our business just sitting there on the table with, they had one of every iteration we've put out. And then once we had these done, and then we upgraded our machine and we could start doing the personalized ones, they ordered personalized gear too. So
that's cool.
That's amazing.
That was really cool. But yeah, my point with that is it's just been amazing meeting people through this and making such amazing friends and just getting to be part of this community. It's been really good.
Yeah, someone asked us once what it felt like to go somewhere and have somebody pull out your piece of equipment and use it. It's a really cool feeling, to be honest.
I bet it is. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
Well, it again kind of hammers home that feeling that, you guys made this for people that do what you love, and it shows. So, of course, they're going to use it. It makes perfect sense. Do you have anything else you wanted to?
No, I mean, that's the only thing we have right now from them, but there's
Not-
more to
Yeah,
come.
there's more to come. Okay, so in closing, I got to ask. Now, I'll get to yours here in a second, Tina, but Marcus, what was your, and I'm going to break the proverbial cuss word here. What was your holy shit moment in Investigation? What was the one that you take away as like, okay, this is that next level?
I haven't really hit. I had one, but it was just myself scaring myself.
Yeah, we have
Familiar
those too.
with it? Yeah.
When I'm looking down a hallway and I see a shadow, and then when the shadow moves, and then I look and it pops its head back out, and then I realize it's my own dumb head.
Oh,
That was the only time I've ever been like panicked for a minute.
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had some cool stuff happen, but I haven't had the oh shit
Right.
yet.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've scared myself. I don't know how many freaking times. Oh,
Well, you're already high. Your level is heightened. So
in fact, the music box scared the shit out of us this last one
yes,
because
it did because we forgot
forgot
where
it
we put
was there. Walked right past it into the kitchen, and I think we both force projected and had to soil ourselves and regroup. But okay, Tina. Now I know you've been on some stuff. Like if I remember right, you were on the haunted house or the haunted house. Was it the real haunted mansion #2? I think it is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I know you've been out there, you've done things, and obviously, I mean, it's no Melbourne Manor, your first time up. But what's your oh shit moment?
Um, I've experienced a lot of things, and it's really weird because, like, when I told you I was the person that was like scared of the dark, I would have been scared of my own shadow probably. And now for me to go like walk death row on Missouri State Pen by myself, the only one in the building, it like almost doesn't even faze me anymore, which is really weird. Um, but it really wasn't an oh shit moment, but at I think it was Fairfield County Infirmary, Madison Seminary. I can't remember which one it was, but I heard the most clear disembodied voice that I've ever heard, and that was really cool. Oh, probably the only time I didn't really run out of the room, but I bailed because it was just getting to be really crazy. Was something in Malvern Manor. Anybody that's familiar with that knows about the Shadow Man Hall, and there was just something eerie as could be. Like the pen light was just kind of like it started like I don't know, just kind of pulsating in and out, and things were just getting really, really creepy. And it was like one of those, something's going to happen that I'm not going to like. So I either wait this out or I scram, and I got out of there because there's been some not so friendly things there, and I don't need anything coming home with me.
Yeah.
And Malvern is spooky.
Yeah, you got to listen to your gut in those situations. If you feel like it's time to just take a break. Take a break.
I mean, Mike and Sam, they had been there recently. Well, not that real, within the last 6 months or so.
A bit, but yeah.
And they caught some EVP stuff that just, wow. And of course, I think we recently watched, was it Ryan Bagheera was out there, and he caught some pretty crazy stuff too. So yeah, Malvern is quite interesting. But listen, guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Like I said, we're probably going to continue to be clients.
Yes, we will.
And
for sure.
Yeah, we're just excited to kind of see where everything goes for you guys, and we're excited to get this stuff out in the field.
Well, we appreciate that and all the kind words, and I just can't stress how much we appreciate everybody, whether it's just sharing a post and introducing somebody to our business, or the people that have been repeat clients. We're just so touched by everybody and so thankful, and it's really helped us grow. And one thing too, we just one thing was in my kind of like 5-year plan, I wanted to get a laser engraver, and we just picked one of those up a couple weeks ago. So we've been, that's going to help us expand too. Right. So it's been great, and without the amazing support we've had, who knows where we'd be. But we definitely really appreciate everybody's support, no matter how big or small.
That's great.
Great.
Can't think of a better way to end it than that, guys. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for coming on. For those of you who don't know, they were recovering from the ick that everybody seems to be getting.
Everyone has
Everybody
it.
is
We
sick.
had it over New Year's, so we terrible. Get it. Yeah.
But it was great having them on. They're a lot of fun, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I really like them.
Yeah. You get the sense, and again, I said it quite a few times during it, but the quality of what they do, the care that goes into it, and just by hearing how Mark kind of approaches things, and they keep in mind the person that's using it, not just
and they take requests. Like, that's awesome, and they can personalize it to teams. I think that's fantastic, because you can't do that anywhere.
No. And even if you could, it'd probably be some ridiculous amount of money.
Oh,
you know,
it would be. Yeah.
But no, it was great. And, we talked about some of their gear, but the K2 stand, this little guy, first of all,
Yeah.
worth its weight in gold, or in this
Yes.
sense, copper.
It was just, yeah.
Yeah. So
I lost my words.
that's okay.
It was just so helpful.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, like a malming table, you can't set a K2 on it
No.
because it slides off.
Yes, it sure does.
So, and you want to be able to see the lights,
Mm-hmm.
and all their stands, they've got all kinds of different colors for the K2, but this one is infused with copper powder,
Mm-hmm.
which I'll let you explain the scientific
So, okay.
means of copper.
So copper. I don't know what copper does. I'm not sure, but copper it's a conductor. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you think about your stereo cables and anything that you have that can send a signal, unless it's fiber optic, which if you have that, then you're ridiculously loaded. But most things are made of copper because
Mhm.
it sends an electrical signal, and it does it very well. It's very conductive. It's malleable, which means you can basically kind of form it many different ways. But when it comes to paranormal investigations, it kind of helps, I think, with a lot of different things. Obviously, if you feel that, and most people do, that you're in a paranormal connectivity. I'm still thinking technical. If you're in a paranormal, anything, copper is somewhat involved, guaranteed.
Our dowsing rods,
Yeah.
they're always made out of copper.
That's
for
right.
a reason. It helps you connect to spirit.
That's right.
Yes.
And to have it in a powder in this,
And to be able, that is just, it was fascinating when I saw they listed that.
that was probably.
I was like, I ordered it immediately.
Yeah. So if you realize that the K2 meter, what it picks up, when you have something that's actually copper to help with it, whether it does anything or not, with this particular thing, I don't know. Everybody, you can make your own claim on what a K2 meter does, or for the paranormal, it's entirely up to you. But every team uses it, and in my personal opinion, it's a great way. It's just another
It's a great tool.
It's a tool. But this right here, having it somewhat have some copper infused into it, I think only helps with the whole.
I think it enhances the chances
Right.
that you're going to be able to connect.
Yeah, it really does.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, everything. They've got. I know there's more that we probably didn't get to discuss on there, and they're developing new things all the time. So definitely go check out their Etsy page. It's Journey with a N, not IN, but Journey N to the Haunted. Okay, if you look that up, I love their name. Then you'll get a page of all their, and we'll provide the link with the episode, and you can check out all they have available. And they've got even like jewelry and stuff too. They print out, so it's really cool. But honestly, I think my favorite thing are the battery boxes. Yeah, because if you're investigating, all of you guys know this. Batteries get thrown or they fall out of the case that they come in from the store, the plastic case. And if you don't have them in a pouch, they kind of just all fall, and they're not organized. These things are amazing. Like, I love them. Yeah. And we're ordering more. Yeah. Because we've got multiple batteries. But they've got a little slot that they just slide into. You can immediately go back, pull them out. Yeah. Put them back in. We recharge ours and stick them back in there. Yeah, we
try to be as environmentally conscious.
It keeps us more organized. I will say that. Because the worst possible thing is you go back in your bag to replace batteries that have been drained. Mm-hmm. And you don't have any because you accidentally threw the old ones back in the bag. It happens all the time. It does happen all the time. So I love those. We haven't gotten a chance to use the yes, no yet, but I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah. The cat ball stand. It'll definitely probably be, we may actually just take it to what is our next investigation? I don't actually know. But the music box is great. Yeah. I love the music box. Just, I remember where you said it. It'll jumpstart your heart there for a second. 100% guaranteed it will. Mm-hmm. But, well, yeah. I mean, it was a great episode. Thank those guys for coming on. And other than that, guys, we'll talk to you next week. Yeah, next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Generation X Paranormal. Remember, all editing is done in-house and we're a self-funded podcast. so your support truly makes a difference. Like, subscribe, and follow us on all socials to stay connected. Special thanks to Eric Cooley for creating our music. And don't forget to check out our Patreon for exclusive content and ways to help us keep the show going. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the unexplained.